to DAFL 104 class graduation project presentation. In order to make our presentations go smoothly, we would remind you to turn off your cell phone or switch it to vibration mode. Thank you. Now, it's our pleasure to welcome our chairman, Dr. Dong Xing-zhen, to make the opening address.
Good morning, seniors. And it's an annually big event for our senior students. And today we have 8 groups for presentation, and including 1 group for presentation of the graduation performance. And due to a limitation of time, so let's begin our presentation soon. Thank you.
Thanks for Dr. Dong's speech. Our presentation is about to begin. Prior to the presentations, we will remind you the following rule for time management. Each group has 12 minutes for a presentation. We will ring the bell twice. First, at the 11th for the last minute reminding, and by the second bell at the 12th minute, the speaker needs to end the presentation in 20 seconds. Now, let's welcome Group 1 for presentation. The topic is the study of 9th grade students' talent credit score participation status.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Emma. Today we are talking about 9th grade students' participation statute of talent credit score. And we choose Dachao Junior High School and the Fidelity Junior High of National Kaohsiung Memorial University. Later, we will call it Kaoshi Fuzhong. And this is our context. Now, let's begin. In 2014, 9th grade student passed a huge change. The basic competence test became a comprehensive assessment program. Talent became a part of the score, which means if students want to go to their ideal school, they have to learn extra talent or some special skill, unless they can go to private school or vocational school. So, under the brand new educational system, there's a new type of credit score rises up, that is talent credit score. And we want to find out the influence of 9th grade students after they attaining the talent credit score. In a multiple entry system, students have to learn some talent or develop some specialty. This didn't reduce the pressure for the students at Liuzhen, and parents always put their childhood dreams into their children and hope that one day their dream can come true, said by Chou Yizhen. And we separate our research into 3 parts. First, we want to know is that the connection between the school, which students choose to go, and the talent credit score participation statute. Second, the proportion of students' participation and the genre of talent credit score. Third, the influence of 9th grade students after they attaining the talent credit score in the past 3 years. Therefore, we made some questionnaires to investigate the 9th grade students, and we designed 11 questions to help us to collect the data. We prepared 100 questionnaires for the 9th grade students. Now, Crystal and Joanne will show the data that we collect from the 9th grade students.
Hello, I'm Crystal. In this chart, we can see that there are 92% of male students and 88% of female students didn't attend talent credit school. There are 55% of female students attended talent credit school in Kaohsiung. chart, most of students in Dachao Junior High didn't attend talent class school. There are more female than male students attending talent class school in Gaoshi Fuzhou. There are 65% of male students and 37% of female students didn't attend talent class school in Dachao Junior High. There are 44% of male students and 20% of female students didn't attend talent class school in Gaoshi Fuzhou. In this chart, we can see that the main reason students didn't attend talent class school is that they are not interested in it. In Dachao Junior High, there are 81% of male students agree to learning talent, and 91% of female students agree to learn. 91% of female students agree to learning talent. In Gaoshi Fuzhou, there are 80% of male students and 93% of female students agree to learning talent. In this chart, we can see that most of students agree to learning talent if they can get higher grades. In Dachao Junior High, there are 39% of male students and 60% of female students agree to attend talent class. In Gaoshi Fuzhou, there are 60% of male students and 66% of female students agree to attend talent class. In this chart, we can see that most of students agree to attend talent class if high school offers free talent classes. In this chart, we can see that there are 25% of male students and 50% of female students are interested in talent, and 50% of male and female students want to learn more talent. In Gaoshi Fuzhou, there are 42% of male students and 28% of female students are interested in talent and want to learn more talent. In this chart, we can see that most of students decide to attend talent class because they are interested in talent and want to learn more talent. There are 100% of male students and 50% of female students like to learn about music in Dachao Junior High. There are 50% of male students and 39% of female students like to learn about music in Gaoshi Fuzhou. According to this chart, most of students are interested in learning music.
Hello, I'm Joanne. You can see from these two charts, most students found their hobby after they attended talent class school, and practice their talent became their way to release stress. In these two charts, you can see most of students are interested in the talent they learn. Only less 10% students in Gaoshi Fuzhou don't. Would you affected by the talent you learn when you choose a high school? You can see the most students in Dachao will be affected by the talent they learn, but the students in Gaoshi Fuzhou only less 40% affected by the talent they learn. This chart is talking about where they suggest junior students to go to private school so they can avoid the stress of learning talent. We can see from the page chart. Most of students like to learn talent, so most of them choose no. Only few students in Gaoshi Fuzhou choose yes. This chart shows the students support the new policy or not. The result from Dachao is interesting. 80% female students support this policy, but 56% male students don't. And in Gaoshi Fuzhou, 65% male students and 73% female students support this policy. So we can see the most students in Gaoshi Fuzhou support talent become part of school. But we also can see the male support rate is lower than female.
Hello everyone. Now let's move to the conclusion. First, we found out the main factor of whether students attend talent school or not is which kind of high school they choose to go. In Dachao Junior High School, most of the students are planning to go for Teacher High School, so they don't attend talent school. But in Gaoshi Fuzhou, most of the students are planning to go to normal high school. So you can see the numbers of students who attend talent school in Gaoshi Fuzhou are higher than Dachao Junior High School. Second, music is the most popular talent because now learning music is cheaper than before, and now more and more people start learning talent, and there's also in Taiwan, learning music, children will never go back. So most of parents prefer to send their children to learn music. Third,
going to attend Telegram school, they are not forced by their parent. They're actually interested in learning talent and passing talent became part of their release stress. So maybe the new comprehensive assessment program isn't that bad as we think. This is our reference. Thank you for your attention.
Next, let's welcome Group 2 for presentation. The topic is the students' expectation and strategies towards English proficiency test as graduation benchmark.
Good morning, everyone. The topic of our presentation today is the students' expectation and strategies to an English proficiency test as graduation benchmark. A study with English majors from a university in southern Taiwan. Our advisor is Dr. Wang. These are our group members. Our talk is divided into 8 parts, and now I'm going to start with the background of English graduation benchmark. In order to enhance students' proficiency in English, it has become common practice in Taiwan to impose an English graduation benchmark on university students as one of their degree requirements. In 2001, a program was proposed by the Ministry of Education to promote GPT. In the next year, a project was introduced to encourage universities setting their own English graduation benchmark. In 2004, most universities started to follow and to set their own English graduation benchmark. The problem: in 1993, Professor Shahami pointed out, using tests to solve educational problems is a simplistic approach to a complex problem. It works on people's fear of authority. In her point of view, the power of tests is too strong to bring about any meaningful educational change, as their change are often instrumental. Although it has been more than a decade since the proficiency test being carried out in Taiwan, it seems that there is a discrepancy between the kinds of English content cultivated by the English curriculum and evaluated by the English proficiency test, as not all college students are able to pass the English proficiency test. Instead, they have to take internal English exit test or remedial English courses to fulfill their English graduation requirements. The purpose of a study is to investigate students' expectations and strategies to an English graduation benchmark. Also, we would like to know if the students, as they enter the department, were aware of this possible discrepancy.
Literature review. The research literature regarding to this issue maintains both positive and negative impact on teaching and learning. We generated 3 research questions to meet the purpose of study. Question 1. How many graduates in the past year passed the entire course requirements but failed to reach the English benchmark set by the formal proficiency test? Data source official document. Question 2. How can the training from the English curriculum in the DAFL prepare the students for the formal English proficiency test? 2.1. How well did the top 5 English major do in the test? 2.2. From students' perspective, what specific courses they have passed did help to improve their English skills that are expected by the test? Data source, questionnaires and interviews. Question 3. How can an English major pass the English benchmark set by the formal proficiency test? 3.1. What strategy should one take? 3.2. What are the possible expectation awareness of the students on this issue during the years of study in the department? data source, questionnaires, and interviews. Instrument. Here are 4 parts for questionnaires. Part 1, focus on student expectation and views. Part 2, focus on students' perspectives. Part 3, focus on student strategies. Part 4, focus on students' attitude and motivation. Interview. Whether senior English major students who achieved academic excellence have also passed English proficiency tests. What strategy they took to achieve it. Participant. 145 English majors fill out the questionnaires for us, and we also interviewed 5 students who have passed the proficiency test and 5 who haven't passed. Interview data was analyzed by themes, while questionnaire data was analyzed by percentage. We hypothesized that students are not aware of discrepancy between the English curriculum and proficiency tests until later years. Besides, student strategies of coping with the proficiency test requirements shifted from all I need to do is study hard in every course to I need a self-study plan of extra learning content. Top 5 students can just master any requirements and tests with or without formal instructions. Here's the findings. 51% of seniors in this year passed English benchmark, while 46% of them failed, although they passed all the subjects. As you can see, in academic year 106, only 34% of them passed the English benchmark. For research question 2, we would like to know how well did the top 5 English majors do in the test. Here's the finding. The top 5 students from 2 classes, they all passed the English graduation benchmark. There were 5 students who achieved a score of 700 on TOEIC, and 5 students achieved a score of 550 on TOEIC. According to the findings of research question 2, we would like to know what courses are helpful to students. The courses investigate grammar, vocabulary, listening, writing, and testing. For the freshmen, they haven't taken the testing course yet, but as you can see, most of them have high expectations. When it comes to seniors, after they take the test, the senior report the testing is helpful. Research question 3, students' expectations. When it comes to freshmen expected that they can pass the English proficiency test easily as long as they follow and complete the courses offered by the department. Juniors and seniors, however, found that the courses alone are not enough. They need self-study to pass the test. As for student strategies, most of the students with TOEIC score more than 700 reported that they rely on self-study. However, most of the students with TOEIC score more than 550 reported that course instructions are enough.
Other findings. By now, we can see 56% of seniors haven't passed graduation benchmark in academic 107, and only a few juniors and sophomores have passed it. In this line graph, most of the students believe to pass English proficiency test, completing the courses plus self-study is the best strategy. And going to prep school is not necessary. As for going to language center, 4 years of students have diverse opinions. And most of the participants believe English graduation benchmark is necessary because it can keep them motivated in learning and improving English skills, and some things that can promote self-discipline. And the student think it needs to be abolished, as some students think it spend too much money on taking proficiency tests if they fail it again and again. And there's too much stress to enjoy learning, and some students may marginalize the core courses due to too much focus on the benchmark. Discussion and conclusions. And there are strategies just like we hypothesized. However, the majority of the students still regarding to the language courses they learn at school. It helps in preparing for the proficiency test. And the top 5 students can measure any requirements and tests just like we hypothesized. Implication for further policy making. We think the department should keep using English proficiency tests as graduation benchmark, but make sure that the students are aware of the necessity of course instruction plus self-study plan. And the implication for teaching and curriculum design. We suggest the department should re-examine the curriculum design and the teaching goal. References. And these are our references from the internet. Thank you for listening.
Next, let's welcome Group 3 for presentation. The topic is CNU English Measures Responses to the Online Course Learning.
Bonjour, je m'appelle LB.
Good morning, I'm Sherry.
This is CNU International Education News. It is 10 a.m.
We begin with our introduction on our news report.
This is the overall content.
Recently, there are increasing numbers of online learning courses in universities in Taiwan. Today, we focus on students' responses to the online learning courses, especially CNU English majors responses.
Our report is sent to three major directions. First, type of course physically conducted online. Second, student frequency of the online course learning per week. Third, student motivation in the online course learning.
LB, we know it is challenging for us to do this report. We show overall process to our audiences.
Actually, this topic has been heatedly discussed. For instance, the success of the online course learning is related to gender, degree of education, the age of learners, and the learning styles. I mean, students should be more interactive with their learning peers or teachers.
That is right, but I'm sorry that our report focuses on CNU English majors. We are happy to invite Maggie and Vivian to share their findings with us. Before her sharing, she did the report through questionnaire and invited daytime and evening division English majors and used the SPSS for analysis.
Okay, now let's welcome Maggie and Tiffany.
Konnichiwa, watashi wa Zen desu. Hello everyone, I'm Maggie. Through our investigation, we have found that the evening division English major are more experienced in the online learning courses. Yet, nearly half of daytime English major have such a learning experience. Interestingly, evening division students are not highly supportive of the online learning course.
Thanks, Maggie. Then Vivian, how many platforms are offered for the online course learning?
Hello, I'm Vivian. Well, both daytime and evening English majors frequently use the CNU online learning platform. With regard to types of online learning courses, the developmental general education courses are frequently conducted online for daytime English majors, and these courses win the positive responses. Differently, more required courses are conducted online for night school English majors. Comparatively, for night school students, they hope that they can have the face-on-face required courses learning.
Well, Vivian, which types of online course learning are offered for our students?
Two major types. The blended online courses is offered for daytime English majors, but the whole online course learning for night school students.
Vivian, are students hardworking in their online learning courses?
We are going to invite Tiffany to show her reports. Let's move it to Sharon and Elvin.
Let's welcome Tiffany. Tiffany, are both daytime and evening English majors diligent in their online course learning?
Mucho. Buenos días. Me llamo Tiffany. Gracias, Sharon. It's true that the night school students have more online learning courses, but they are not more diligent in their online learning. Both daytime and night school English major have spent 1 to 2 hours at most per week online learning courses. Indeed, there is no statistical differences in this issue.
Well, Tiffany, which function do students mostly use in online course learning?
Well, the assignment submission function is frequently used by daytime students and the cross instruction by night school students.
So, Tiffany, are these functions helpful to students' learning?
Good question. Ruby is expert in this issue. Let's welcome Ruby.
Hello, I'm Ruby. Actually, for daytime students, the most helpful function is course instruction and assessment report. This is the same for evening students. It is interesting that they do not pay much attention to the bulletin and evaluation function.
So, Ruby, how are students' evaluation of the online course learning?
Indeed, both daytime and evening students, especially slow learners, agree that learning flexibly is a great benefit. But they cannot get the quick response or the interaction from teachers or peers.
Okay, so Ruby, are students expect more online learning course next semester?
Actually, both daytime and evening students would be positive to the online courses. Yes, daytime students would expect more online learning courses next semester.
Thanks, Ruby and Tiffany. Now let's go back to Yuki, make conclusions.
감사합니다, LB. 안녕하십니까? 저는 정우유입니다. Hello, I'm Yuki. Now I make a conclusions on our news project. First, daytime English major are more interested in online courses learning than evening division students. Second, both daytime and evening division English major have different type of online learning courses. Developmental general education courses for daytime students, required courses for night school students. Third, night school students have more online learning courses in required courses, but they hope that they have more online learning courses in developmental general education courses, so there will be but they hope that they have more online learning courses in developmental general education courses, so they will be more hardworking in their study. Finally, most of our students agree that learning flexibility is the advantage in online courses learning, but they didn't spend much time per week on their study. This is our reference. 오늘 우리의 발표를 들려주셔서 감사합니다.
PJ Cuide Arigato. Muchas gracias.
Merci beaucoup. Thanks for your listening.
Next, let's welcome Group 4 for presentation. The topic is Students' Intention of Part-Time Work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of our presentation is Students' Intention of Part-Time Work. It's a study on freshmen and junior students of Jiangnan University. The following presentation will go by the following parts of introduction, literature review, methodology, finding, discussion, and conclusion. This is the framework of our research process. We kick in our work step by step from March to October. In the following presentation, we would like to share our study. This study aims to figure out the proportion of CNU students with part-time work and to classify the types and the purposes of those part-time jobs. After that, we will try to find out the impact of going part-time on students' coursework and even on their future career plans. Now, let me explain some specific terms in this study. First, the term of intention is an activity that people treat and concentrate on their goals of doing something. It shows desires, aspirations, wishes, deliberate, and any behavior responses to work part-time student workers' goals. Next, part-time work means that people work for only some of the time in a week, and they are usually paid by hours. Then future careers in this study are continuous throughout those part-time student workers pursue their permanent work after graduation. In our daily observations, students who work part-time usually neglect their coursework and even give out their studies. Most of them tend to directly enter the workplace, causing the situation of putting the cart before the horse. Therefore, we are motivated to survey students' focuses for their part-time jobs. They might be on money or on experiences. Therefore, our research question was generated. Why do students work part-time and what are their attitudes to work part-time work? Now, let's review some literature done for the issues of students' part-time work. For the example of Macau University, Dr. Wang found that doing part-time job had no effect on students' academic performance when it is treated as a homogeneous category. When treated as various experiences, their academic performance could be affected. Moreover, students can develop skills and enrich their school life. In another study from Dr. Knowles and Hausens from Arkansas State University in the USA, it shows that college students tend to spend fewer hours on study while spend more hours on work. However, the amount of time they spend on study or on work has no direct influence on their academic performance. On the other hand, in the study of George Mason University, Dr. Whistler revealed that the great amount of working hours connectively association with students' academic performance. However, working students who can maintain a high GPA have stronger time management skills than those receiving lower grades, especially for freshman student workers.
Further, in the study of Kentucky University, Dr. Miller and Danner found that working students who binge drinking or have less sleep and lower academic performance were associated with working 20 or more hours per week. In a notable study from McDaniel College, Dr. Dundas and Mars revealed that students working 10 to 19 hours per week have better academic performance than other students who work over 20 hours per week or not working. However, those students would like to balance their effort on work with their courses So they develop skills of organization and efficiency, but cause more stress and less time for socializing. In the following parts, we are going to the methodology of this study. The subject focuses on the first grade and third grade students in Jiangnan University. We applied Word and Excel to record our record questionnaires. The questionnaire was designed to investigate CNU students' concerned about their part-time work. The content includes 16 questions are divided into 3 parts as follows. First part, from question 1 through 5, are asked to get their proportion and reasons students work part-time. Next part, question 6 and question 10 to 12 are about the types of part-time work and the payment. Third part, from question 7 to 9 and from question 13 to 16 are about students' feedback from their part-time work. As shown above, we also analyzed the collected data by 3 categories: the proportion, the types, the feedbacks of student part-time work. Let's see how many students have part-time work in Jiangnan University. It shows that only 26% of the freshmen, but half of juniors work part-time. The top 2 reasons students don't work part-time are the possible influence to their coursework, and they have enough living expenses. Apparently, both freshmen and juniors accept a job that is not paid well, but match their future careers. Let's look at their working hours. Most students work less than 20 hours per week. Some of them work over 20 hours. It shows that 22% of freshmen and 48% of juniors have long-hour part-time work. From our study, most students work in the service industry. It's 48% of the freshmen and 34% of juniors. As you can see, freshmen working in the service industry are more than juniors. From the feedback of our subject, surprisingly, most of student jobs are not related to their majors. The research shows that only 7% of freshmen, their jobs are related to majors. However, juniors are up to 44%. The rate is much more than freshmen.
Generally, the college period is called the first step to experience social workforces. In accordance with our data analysis, we may answer the previous questions as follows. First, the proportion of junior part-time student worker is higher than freshmen. That's about 50% to 27% for each grade. From their further answers, the junior students have more focus on their future plans and would like to think about their possible careers. Next, we have found the students' various attitudes on their part-time work in the following representations. More than half of the students having part-time job need money. For example, they have to earn life expenses, to pay tuition, to support family, and to increase deposits. Students usually choose service industry as a part-time job. The reasons may be that service industry is easy to get started. It's didn't need for special profession. No matter what department they major in, the freshman is more notable. Nearly 80% of freshmen working less than 20 hours per week. They take more courses than junior students do. In conclusion from our study, in a ratio of part-time student worker, the percentage of junior is higher than freshmen. The juniors get to pursue their independent living styles and future careers. While the freshmen might be still adapting new college life and have more financial support from family. For the reasons students working part-time, first, in economic need, most of them have to make money for life expenses, tuition, and family costs, and even saving some money for deposits for their future needs. Next, in psychological need, They want to cultivate their independence and social skills in partnership with the off-campus society. Then, in their competitive need, some believe that early exposure to working places can practically increase more working experience and financial management skills before graduation. These are references reviewed in the study. This is a package of questionnaire conducted for survey. This is our presentation. Thanks for your attention.
Next, let's welcome Group 5 for presentation. The topic is the bullying on university.
Good morning, everyone. We are Group 5. The topic of our presentation is research on China University campus bullying. As campus bullying becomes more widespread, the issue of campus bullying is getting more and more attention, and both bullies and be bullied have different reactions. Our questionnaire is mainly aimed at the relevant experience and seeking solutions for bullying. Table of content. We divide the themes into 3 parts. The first part is to explain our research motivation and research methods. The middle part is the analysis data we make, and the last is our conclusion. Introduction. Most of the student activities are on campus, so campus life is very close to students. If there is a bullying behavior on campus, it will be very urgent to solve it immediately, because bullying often causes physical and mental trauma to students, and even death. Research proposed. First, understand the China University first-year student thoughts on the frequencies and causes of the bullying incident. Second, investigate the common types, locations, and causes of bullying incidents in first-year students in China University. Third, investigate the China University first-year students' solutions and treatment methods for the bullying incident. Methodology. For the motivation and purpose of above research, we produced a questionnaire and invited China University 300 first-year students to enter. The questionnaire is divided into 3 parts. The first to third question is basic information, and the fourth to seventh questions are the most common bullying behavior, location and causes. The 8 and 9 questions are the student solutions and help units for bullying. This is our study process. Content. The reason for college campus bullying and common bullying methods. Here are a few of items we had categories. Personality traits. The personality traits of bullying tend to be impulsive, low control, and strong. Such a morbid personality is higher in men than in women. Empathy. The bully is less empathetic or lacks thinking before the action, causing regret. Parent-child relationship. The bully and the family lacks the specific interaction of the four, and it is easy to derive the off-campus behavior of the children. Peer performance myth. The so-called peer express myth, including the bully throw the behavior to show self in the same position. Confusion between jokes and bullying. If you don't know enough between peers, it's easy to use jokes as bullying. The influence of deviation behavior friends. The more students interact with the deviant behavior friends, the more bullying behavior. In view of the reason for the above-mentioned campus bullying, the possible types of campus bullying may be derived. Language bullying.
This is most common type of current campus bullying. Bullying often hurts others by intimidating or ridiculing insults. Lip bullying. This is bullying behavior by pushing, kicking, beating, and stealing property. Relationship bullying. The bully doesn't treat others by words or body, but will deliberately use the international relationship to isolate others. Internet bullying. Bullying people online or online community tool. Counter-attack bullying. The so-called counter-attack bullying includes the winners who return to the bully looking for people who are more bully than him. Sexual bullying. Making fun of or commenting on the other's body, gender, sexual orientation. It is also sexual bullying. According to Picture 1, the main questionnaire subject were mainly from a second-year student, a total of 72.78%. The questionnaires of our grades are all relatively small proportions. Therefore, the results of the questionnaire survey in this spatial study are more biased towards the written opinion of the second-year university students. Combined with the data in Figure 1, the results of this survey are biased towards the second-year students of the Department of Cosmetics, Application and Management. At present, the complex environmental security has improved compared with the severe bullying scenario in the 100 years of the Republic of China. However, we still use the questionnaire survey to further understand the views of the university students interviewed on the bullying incident. Interview college students rarely see the violence of the student during incident. As the college students who are interviewed are also close to the school teacher office or the school administration, it is rare to see the campus during incident. In addition, students of all grades also attribute this phenomenon to their own academic atmosphere. We use the college students' campus chats and loud talks between college students to deepen their bullying attitude. According to Figure 5, nearly 100% of the interviewed students do not think that the two cases are classified as campus bullying, but the close interaction between the students, it can be seen from this that the interviewed university students should not be overly strict with the standard rating of bullying. The internet bullying, although it has received repercussion, the response is not as good as expected. Such a written response to the results of peer-to-peer bullying and exclusion is the most serious, and the internet bullying has counted down. College students most often see the location of the campus bullying incident. According to Picture 6, in addition to the type of bullying incident, the few students who feel the campus bullying seems that the most common bullying locations is the classroom. The network platform is the place where the bullying incident occurs. The most common cause of student school bullying incident. The more common peer inclusions, verbal conflict, or cyberbullying among students is related to the following factors. 1. Peer friendship or emotion disputes. 2. Revenge mentally caused by domestic violence. And 3. Parents lack care or care for the slaves. The relationship between the most common bully on campus and the bully. The results in picture 9 are a more in-depth exploration of the most common campus bullying events in picture 6. We found that the most common occurrence of the same type of bullying, speech bullying and internet bullying in picture 6 were the same classmates, followed by classmates of the same grade but different classes. Students are looking for ways of solution to deal with bullying events. We are divided into 2 parts. The part 1, students are looking for objects to deal with bullying events. Picture 10 is a way for female students to fight campus bullying according to picture 2 above. Obviously, school instructors and class instructors are the most frequently assist students in all grades. On the contrary, college students are increasingly relying on self-handling and looking for more interactive teachers in the face of bullying. Related methods for solving college students' bullying incidents. In the face of the bullying incidents in the university, the first-year students look at the school instructors for more campus visits. Then, sophomores hope that class tutors will interact with students so that they can reduce the occurrence of peer-to-peer bullying. However, third-year students pay more attention to self-protection and stay away from students who love violence. Conclusion. Based on the above finding, we will recognize as follows. 1. Most of them didn't feel the serious bullying phenomenon on the campus. 2. Merely from the bottom of the street except to examine and confine, relationship bullying, speech bullying, and neighbor bullying. These common bullying incidents also occur in classroom and the multimedia classrooms. It is also related to the following factors. 1. Peer-to-peer friendships or emotion disputes. 2. Revenge for children who are subject to domestic violence. And 3. Lack for care or care for their children. The common school bullying incidents start as a leader, mostly for the same grade classmates. And the schoolmaster's bullying for the younger brothers and sisters will also be lower as the grade level is higher. 3. In the face of the campus bullying incident, school instructor and class instructor are the most frequently sought after by students of all grades. But on the grade is higher, the teacher and the self-coding are more developed. This is reference. This is our questionnaire. Thank you for your comment and your passion.
Now, we have a short break time for 10 minutes. The second part of our presentations is going to start 10 minutes later at 10:43.
Another meeting, we have a strategic alliance with the vocational high school. So the meeting is scheduled to held at 11 o'clock. So I have to leave the conference hall earlier. Thank you.
Effect of the root word method on English majors.
我现在还有一个评审没有到，我们现在计时还不会开始，请台上同学稍微等一下。
Group C. Today we are going to discuss the effects of the rule method on English speaking. And our professor is David. Here is my teammates Irene, Emma, Evie, Joshua, Willie, and Anju.
This is our content. First one is introduction. Second, methodology and data. Third, conclusion. And last, references. There are so many methods to learn vocabulary. Why do we choose the rule method?
We think it is an efficient and systematic way to acquire huge amounts of words.
You can say that again. But Jim, can you tell us what are the goals of our study?
Actually, we have three purposes. The first one is to know the effect of teaching root word. The second one, to investigate the reasons. And the third one, to understand the achievements of vocabulary tests and support rules learning.
What are our research limitations?
As you know, I'm an English major, so I know memorizing the word is a tough challenge. And for this reason, we decided to choose people who are English majors.
Why do we choose them to be our participants? Is there any requirement?
Because they have already learned the root word for a semester, so they have basic concept of the root word.
How do we measure the effect of the rule method, Irene?
We designed a questionnaire on the basis of 3 research purposes and a vocabulary quiz in terms of knowledge about root words. The participants in this study are 42nd grade English majors who were given instruction in root words for practically 1 class per week for a semester at Changjiang Girls Senior High School.
This is our data, our research results. What do we find out according to these statistics? Irene?
In questions 5 of questionnaire, the data indicate that over half of students who accept the root word method think that the method is helpful for inferring the meaning of words.
All of them accept the method.
Not really. There are still some students who don't accept the approach.
So later we'll talk about those who don't accept it, right?
That's right. Results of questions 5 point out that students agree that the method increases vocabulary learning efficiency, and it does contribute to efficiency in comprehending the meaning of words when reading English articles. According to the results of questions 6 and 7, so these students agree on the root word method. The students utilize the method to decode the meaning of new words when they acquire words ordinarily, and the students use the method in the exams either.
And we always surprised by these results, aren't we?
Yes, you can say that again. So, integrated with students' test results, it indicates that students accept the root word method, but they are unable to apply the method practically. Apparently, if students want to master the method skillfully, it is not adequate to allow them getting distinguished results on tests in the root word class 2 hours per week for only a semester.
We've mentioned this earlier. There are some students indicate that they don't agree with the method. Why don't they like it? Well, they pick up 3 reasons from the given options in our questionnaire, and none of this. Because of the concept, because of differences of concept between root words and regular words, it's not an easy task for a student to keep these fragments of words in mind. Therefore, maybe they don't know how to infer the meaning of vocabulary by using root words. For some students, root words are even useless, which means no effectivity. This is a rather useless method to them.
And questions 6 and 7 already prove that even students who agree with the method wouldn't utilize root word well, even in exams.
Correct. Question 2, 6, and 7's results tell us that no matter how students feel about the method, they can't utilize it well. And honestly, there is no satisfaction on the test scores. How do students feel about root word after they learn the method? Question 9 refers to the sensitivity to literal meaning of the words. Similarly, it demonstrates that the root word method is helpful. That's nearly 65% of students agree with that. But hold on, we take a look at question 10. that over 50% students say that they can't remember the meaning of words, even though they know how to spell. We can hence draw a conclusion: the effectivity is limited.
Emma, can I ask you a question? How will students accept the dual method?
In question 1 and question 13, there are 82% of students who accept the dual method. The 84% of students consider that teachers should enter in dual and they are teaching vocabulary. Compared with the previous analysis, overall health students thinking that the dual can be applied on students to get the word definition and the spelling. Consequently, they do accept the dual method in class. And really, do students think that the dual method can increase the faculty of memory?
According to the analysis of question A, nearly 68% of students consider that the method can improve the memory type of vocabulary, but nearly 32% of students don't agree with the statement. This indicates that the method isn't helpful for every student, which means they are not able to remember the words by the method for a long time. And how will students accept, how helpful are the methods for students, Emma?
In terms of the acceptance of using dual method to teach students and to gain the benefits, 24% of students consider that the method increases the ability of incorrect means correctly. 22% of students thinking that the method improves efficiency in memorizing vocabulary. The 14% of students assume that the method strengthens instinctive understanding in English. The information data point out that the method is contributing to students' faculty of memory and the lexical meanings.
And let's move to the conclusion. In our study, we found that students are deficient in mastery of real words. Based on the result of the vocabulary test, we assume that students are used to memorizing words by rote. Moreover, in terms of the curriculum, students spend 2 hours per week in a rural class for a semester. Obviously, it's not adequate for students to gain outstanding results. In addition, we have also found that both students accepting the approach and those refusing it are unable to utilize the method practically in a test. In the light of the results, we might need a longer time to observe how the method helps students achieve in a test. And let's move to the next section, references. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for your listening.
Next, let's welcome Group 7 for presentation. The topic is a survey of smartphone addiction in Jiangnan University.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are Group 7. Our topic is a survey of smartphone addiction in Jiangnan University. These are our members. Su Jingyan, Li Yihan, Tu Peitong, Chen Yu, Shen Yuxiang. Our teacher is Ina. Hey. 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 What are you doing? The smartphone. Recently, smartphones are popular. Apps have been well developed. Many people rely on smartphones in their daily lives. They can't stay smartphone. The usage of smartphone will influence people's health and daily lives. It is worth to study this topic. In this generation, people may feel insecure when their smartphones are not available. Many people's life has been occupied by smartphones.
If they don't control themselves, they will become addicted.
Literature review. In 2013's APM meeting, John Gavin reports the teenagers who have addiction of the smartphone, and they also show other psychological problems. Also, it is important for parents to monitor the smartphone using time of their children. Meanwhile, listen to music, watching videos, playing the game, and using social media are the foremost common intention to use smartphone. For the bad effect, if you use smartphone before you go to bed, you will get sleep deprivation. Second, if you use smartphone while driving a car or riding a motorcycle, it may cause car crash. As a report mentioned above, we can know smartphone addiction have bad effects and it may cause accidents. These are our research questions. First, do university students have a study addiction? Second, what might be the reasons because people depend on smartphone? We have 10 questions in our questionnaire.
That's good. And how many participants have we investigated?
We investigated 147 participants. 74 of them are from data students, 72 are from data students, and all of them are from Jana University. And we also do a short interview with some students. These are our questions in our questionnaire. Interviews question. Question 1. Why do you check your smartphone all the time? Question 2. Will it affect your study because you use your smartphone? Question 3. Is there any advice to reduce using smartphone? Most students in both data and data departments to use smartphone for communication. The second reason for them to use smartphone is entertainment. Killing time would be the third. So when they feel bored, they will use smartphone, and this is making friends.
Similar result for the nighttime student. 52.3% of the daytime students choose Line. On the other hand, the least choice for them is WeChat. 3.5% in daytime student and 8.5% in nighttime student. Both the daytime student and nighttime student chose always monthly. On the daytime show that the nighttime student is 2% less than daytime student. Daytime student don't want this message from friend. However, the nighttime student spend much time on work, so they won't check smartphone often. From this chart, we can see most of the nighttime students chose often about this question. But the daytime student chose usually about for the influencing their study. They can control themselves to use smartphone when they study.
Discussion. First, data students have more time to use in academic than night students. For social, it's the mostly student choice, but data students choose academic than night students. Second, data students use social media app for receiving friends' message. Then we interview and find data students spend more time on academic than kill time, and they use social media app for receiving friends' message. Third, night students use social media app for work. Night students have to work. They need to use social media app for their work, and they don't have time for academics. First, why do data students use Instagram more than Facebook? We interview data students and find they use Instagram more than Facebook because they don't want their parents to know their personal life. And they share photos and talk with their friends without family supervisions. Finally, why do night students use Facebook more than Instagram? Night students use Facebook more than Instagram because they are adult students in my department. They used to using Facebook and they don't know how to use Instagram.
Check the message. First, they don't want to miss the news on the smartphone. According to our questionnaire and the interview, we found data students who chose always is 2%, less than daytime students because they don't want to miss the news on the smartphone. Second, daytime students want to check the latest messages by their friends. Daytime students check the latest messages all the time because they want to know their friends' information. Third, nighttime students need to check the messages from both. On the other hand, nighttime students have to check the messages all the time because they have to reserve messages from both about their work. A friend study or work. First, daytime students can limit using smartphone. According to our questionnaire and interview, most daytime students can limit time for using smartphone when they are studying. Second, nighttime students can't focus on work while they use smartphone. Most nighttime students have to work, and they can't focus on work if they use smartphone.
We found that most of students use smartphone for social communication, but they can limit time for using smartphone while they are studying or working. People may depend on smartphone because they want to check message all the time. They won't miss the information from their friends. Suggestion. First, turn off the notification of social media apps. Second, keep smartphone away while working or studying. Third, self-training for restricting time on smartphone. Conclusion. Using smartphone is very good and convenient for our daily life, but we need to control ourselves. This is our report today. Thank you for your listening.
Next, let's welcome Group 8 for presentation. The topic is Proposal of Cakeland English Camp.
Hello everyone, my name is Priscilla Study. Proposal dinner of Cakeland English Camp. The following is the concluding presentation. I'm interested in a variety of camp activities and like testing cakes as well. Therefore, we study Kabbalist two things to propose Cakeland English Camp. The purposes of the study are to understand cake types, origins of cakes, ingredients, procedure of production, pastry tools, baking utensils, and related English terms. This is the poster design of Cakeland English Camp. Here are 4 main activities: cake party, cake factory tour, cake craft activity, cake craft contest. The camp venue is the CIU campus. Subject from 15 to 17 years old. The fee is $2,530 all inclusive. Thank you for listening. This is an estimated budget list. Total amount is $72,600 for around 40 participants. Here are 8 the camp rules and regulations. This is the activity schedule of Cape Beach Camp from July 1st to July 4th. I will briefly introduce the activities of each day in the following. Day 1 morning for orientation. There's an introduction to instructors, staff camp facilities, rules, and schedules. For meeting new friends, there's a handmade cooking activity. Day 1 afternoon is cake party, introduction to different types of cakes, taste different types of cakes, select 5 favorite types of cakes, and find 10 new friends to rank the cakes. Rank the results of new friends. Rankings. Day 2 morning and afternoon is cake factory tour. There are 2 tour buses. The factory is beautiful baby artistic cake touristic factory located in 台南市嘉义区. This is the photo of the cake factory. From 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. there's a tour inside the factory and cooking DIY. And then lunch break from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. There's a class for the pastry tours and baking utensils. And then back to camping. This morning, there's a class to introduce the recipe of 70 types of cakes. After that, there's a recipe game. And then the tutorials for cake songs in the afternoon. Each group selects 2 different types of cakes. 3 cake craft specialists instructs to make cakes. Each group shares their cakes with other groups. Day 4 morning cake craft contest. Each group completes 2 types of cakes. One type is brownie, the other type is each group's desired type. 3 cake contest ratings. Rating criteria: production time 10%, cake quality 60%, creativity 30%. Day 5 farewell party. A working ceremony of cake craft contest. Prizes for winning crew members. A recipe book of cakes. A set of pastry tips. A stylish cake towel. And then lucky draw. Every student will receive a gift. Here are references. They will share with you what should cake for.
You want my honey bun sugar, how do you feel? For my sweet
of graduation performance for presentation. The title of their play is Dream City.
各位同学、老师，大家好。我们是104级应用外语系公研组，由汪爱颖老师、黄文轩老师、Teacher Bridget 和叶正峰老师指导。我们在12月19号的时候，在大礼堂演出了 Dream City 梦之城。那公演一开始是由编剧组先动工，我们由大家选择动物方程式下去做改编。那因为动物方程式是以动物为主的动画电影，所以我们有很多需要考量的地方，像是动画的特效无法在舞台剧上呈现的这个问题，需要找出适合的题材或是故事去取代。那也因为动物的体型都不同，所以需要思考说观众要如何了解现在是哪个动物出场。那等剧本都完成之后，就是不断的确定有没有任何遗漏的问题，或是可以再补强的地方。
我们美宣组负责海报邀请卡的设计、大礼堂舞台的布置，还有发放邀请卡跟每贴海报。这是我们的海报跟邀请卡。
再来是文书的部分，文书的部分主要负责是英文剧本翻译为中文，然后还有制作 PPT 中英文字幕，然后需要注意讨论会议的资料。需要注意的部分有那个英文剧本翻译的内容是否贴切这样子。
那个就是灯光的话，我们有请教那个叶正中老师来帮我，就是找那个灯光公司的那个电话，让我可以去联系，并一同前往。然后我们第一次开会就是确定那个日期，然后演出的日期。然后呢，第二次呢，我们就是确定我们所需要的器材，这样我们要的灯光效果啊那些的，还有确定他们来彩排的日期这样。然后音效呢，就是我跟导演们就是商量，看哪个场景需要什么，去合理的解释出来。
然后我在公演组是负责化妆服装这个部分。那化妆服装部分呢，在第一个阶段，就是在租借前你要先事先比价，这样子才可以节省金钱上的一些，就是不用花费太大这样。然后再来就是确认好衣服租借的计费方式，因为